Like I say, it's hard not to be happy here in Grapevine, Texas at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. And speaking of broadcasters, I thought it would be nice. I'd extend the gesture to Chris DeGaulle, who's the new morning host on the Salem Radio Network and Salem News Channel. Now, I was a big advocate for Chris.
Thank you.
I'm proud of him, and I got to visit last night with Chris and his wonderful wife. Phil Boyce said, "Hey, have you done Chris's show yet, Mike?" I said, "Well, no, he hasn't asked."
Now,
he said he hasn't asked.
Yeah, here's what we know.
Yes.
If I invited you, you'd say, "I don't get up at that hour."
I'm very busy.
That's what we know. You sleep. You need your beauty rest, Mike Gallagher. You'd get the mud mask and the whole thing.
Very busy schedule.
Good morning, Mike.
Hello. Great to see you, Chris. And since we're both here at the same booth, incidentally, furiously wiping it down with Clorox wipies.
That's what I heard.
Eric Metaxas was the Walking Dead yesterday. He's sick as a dog.
Great.
Yeah, but he's sitting here.
Of course.
So I said, fumigate the whole set, burn the chair.
There's zero chance we get out of this thing not sick.
No way. I'll have the nanovirus, the norovirus. Yeah. I'll have COVID. I'll have, because I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac.
Well, and the thing is, now in the post-COVID world, that's all anybody talks about. And I'm always, the delineation mark is the mask. Do you go as far as wearing a mask or not?
Not me, no.
Okay. Well, there are people that wear them, through the airport now and
I know,
somewhere in here. Yeah.
Why? But then I always want to give them grace because I think, well, maybe they're compromised, maybe they're sick, maybe they're fighting cancer. But when I love it when I see like a 35-year-old couple, they're wearing matching Lululemon jogging suits, and they've got their Louis Vuitton bags, and they're on the plane in first class, and they've got their masks on.
It's insane.
You know who they are. You know who they voted for.
It is so good to see you. When I greeted you and you pulled up, you said, I was asking you your flight from Tampa to get here to Dallas, and I had to correct you. You said you flew over
the Gulf of Mexico.
Mike,
I can't believe it.
You're going to get audited.
President Trump is not going to be happy with me. Because, look, he's doing a lot. He got the asteroid stopped yesterday. He's doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I hope you saw the asteroid now. It's not going to hit Earth in 2032. That's MAGA. I mean, it's Donald Trump. It's Elon Musk.
Isn't it amazing that the guy is having as much fun? I mean, when you really quantify what's happened to him in the last year, I mean, yes, he won, and that's all great, but he was nearly killed. His home was raided.
Twice almost killed.
And he's still kind of like joking around and having fun with this.
Well, you and I were at the White House last week, and the atmosphere there is one of determination, and they're very, very focused like lasers, but they're kind of giddy. They're happy.
Really?
Dr. Gorka, you said, is he drunk? I said, no, he's just happy. Seeing a happy, jovial Seb Gorka is a little unusual.
And for the stuff that he sees, I mean, he sees some pretty dark stuff every day in these reports. I'm like, I've never seen a man more happy.
I know.
Seeing some really alarming stuff.
He's getting the bad guys. All right, so this is Chris DeGaulle, who's our new morning host. And I want to, of course, he's been the pride and joy of Philadelphia. Your radio career includes stints in Kansas City, Philly. I got to know you on the Alaska cruise that we did last year, and we just had a beautiful vacation.
Yeah, we did.
And I just kept telling my bosses, this guy's the real deal, and I'm so proud and pleased and happy that you wound up taking the Hugh Hewitt slot because Hugh moved to afternoons to take Gorka's slot. So I want to ask you, Chris, you're a journeyman. You've been at this a long time for a relatively young guy. How's the national stint been going? What's your perspective after the first few weeks at the helm?
Well, I know this about your show more than any other that I listen to. I know how much you value your audience calling in and giving you their perspective. And I think what is so powerful about it is literally every corner of the country. You can hear from people. I mean, our first week when I heard a call from Seattle, and then I get another call from your neck of the woods, and then another call from up in the Northeast, and here in Texas. That's real perspective that I still maintain. As much as the media landscape will always shift, right? There's nothing like what we do here in talk radio and the ability to real time talk with an audience in real time, pick up the phone and call us and tell us what's going on the ground in their backyard. It's a perspective you can't get it on TV. You can't get it anywhere else.
We had lunch yesterday with Mark Davis's listeners. He got 8 people here in the Dallas area to donate to his Food for the Poor campaign.
That's awesome.
And to have lunch with Mark and Mike. And Mark and I do this segment every day on his show at 7:35. And these were 8 of the most delightful, loving, wonderful, patriotic people, all in about their 40s, 50s, 60s. And Mark said, I said to Mark, isn't it crazy what a great group this is? He said, Mike, That's our audience.
Yes.
That's the audience of Salem. That's the audience of Chris DeGaulle. That's the audience of all of us. These are wonderful people. And I'm sorry to knock music radio, but you don't find listeners like that in other formats.
No, and it's so smart. Oftentimes pretty accomplished people, but the perspective. I mean, we talked to a guy, I think, in Tampa who called us yesterday. He was on his way to a bricklaying job.
Right.
These are people that do real work. And so when you talk about these federal government workers who are whining and belly aching, not that they don't all do work. I mean, some of them are great. But talking to people, real people going to work every day, you get the appreciation for what's going on outside the Beltway media we're fed all the time. Right. Beltway media is telling us that everyone's head's on fire because federal workers are being forced to be accountable. I know. It's like the rest of the country does not see it that way, Mike.
Well, the rest of the country looks at these people like they're nuts.
That's right.
I mean, if you got from any of us had our bosses say, "Can you tell us what you did last week?" 5 bullet points. Yeah. We wouldn't melt down. We'd respond to the email.
I told Eddie, I was at a brief lunch yesterday. Santrella, the guy that runs the whole show here for Salem, I'm sitting next to him. And I said to Eddie, can you imagine if Dave Santrella said, I'd like to know 5 things you did yesterday? And I said, I don't report to you. I report to my direct supervisor.
Right. And then tell him that you're infuriated that he would even ask. That was the lady on CNN. Yeah. Remember, did you see her? She said, I'm infuriated. This is outrageous. But don't they know who I am?
Yeah, it's like, no, Dave would have the right to ask me if he wants what I did yesterday.
No kidding. And meanwhile, the press is melting down over the White House being controlled in terms of who gets access. This White House Correspondents Association has been obliterated. And of all people, Jackie Heinrich, the reporter from Fox News, lashing out against what Trump and Caroline Leavitt are doing.
Both Fox and Newsmax are trying to push back again. There's this bowing at the altar of the Associated Press, because that's just the way it is. The Associated Press is the gold standard. They're the granddaddy of media.
Right.
Says who?
I know. Says who? Where's that written down? And incidentally, Jackie Heinrich is a board member of the White House Correspondents Association.
And there you go.
So there's the answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Chris DeGaulle, I couldn't be happier for you doing mornings on many of our stations around the country. And thank you, by the way, for showing me up by not wearing the clunky headphones for our hit. So Carrie Pahagian will write an email about why can't Mike wear, but see, here's the thing. You've got 2 of the IFBs in your ears.
Right. Yeah.
You told me that. When you asked me first about this transition from headphones to TV for Salem News Channel, and we call them IFBs.
That's right.
These are these fitted, ghastly things that go inside your ear.
Hate them, actually. Yeah.
It's like it's like a worm brain. Yeah. It's like Bobby Kennedy.
That's right. It's the worst.
It's awful. But when it's loud in a room, I can't hear from one ear. Well, you solved that because you've got 2 of them.
Yep. I ordered a split deal where I can plug in both ears.
Was that hard to do?
No. I mean, I have to hear. I've always been, voice. And so now we do the TV thing where the people look and they say, don't wear the headphones. So I said, can we make 2? And the people said, yeah, we can make 2.
Well, there he is, kissing up to the bosses. That's what he does. And I can happily say to my boss, one of the things I did last week, I had Chris DeGaulle on my show. Yeah. Tomorrow we shall see if Mike Gallagher will make an appearance on the Chris DeGaulle show.
Being on Mike Gallagher's show is like doing 5 things. So I've done my 5 things for the day.
All the boxes are checked.
That's right.
Keep fighting the good fight, my friend.
Come back and see me in the morning if you dare get up.
I'll be up. I'll be up. I'll see you. Keep it up, Chris.
Thanks, Mike.
The great Chris DeGaulle. And check him out. Join his Harumph Society. It's fantastic. Google it, the Harumph Society. Be part of the Chris DeGaulle Club, his world. It's the coolest thing. I'll tell you about it on the other side of the break about Harumph. And we got to talk about the latest from Whale Psychiatrist, my favorite site to follow on X, because Whale Psychiatrist, whoever he or she is, chronicles a day in the life of the Trump administration. Welcome into Texas, day 2 of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, the Mike Gallagher Show here in the Relief Factor Studios. Coming up.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.